Hey, good morning, everybody. It's me, Pete, Quarterdeck Arcade. I'm back in the arcade this morning for a brief stint. Next weekend, of course, there will be no show because I will be at the Indy 500. So just a heads up, show note right there off the bat that next weekend I will be away again. And so after that, I'll be back for a few weeks until the NASCAR race at the Brickyard rolls around in July. So thank you, Stock Jock, for letting me know about the sound. I appreciate it. Welcome to you guys, Hockey Town, Stock Jock, and Ted. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate everybody who stops by and visits on my little corner of the internet. Much appreciated. It has been a couple of weeks. As I told you, I had a lot of things going on. I wore this shirt just for you, Stock Jock. I think I have a role. I said to myself this morning when I was pulling the outfit out, I said, you know, I haven't worn the Robotron shirt in a while. So I'm going to throw it on today. So morning, Gramps. Good to see you. So, yeah, I've been away for a couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, I was down in Indianapolis. I drove down to Indianapolis, the gal and I, to participate in the Indy Mini, which, for those of you that don't know, that's a half marathon and a 5K race that runs there. I, of course, decided to be bold, and I did both. So they have a challenge there and a separate medal for the challenge. And so I thought, I'm going to go for it because the whole point of the weekend was to remember my brother who passed away last December, as you all know. And so I wore a special shirt in his honor. And let me just pull up a couple of pictures from that real quick. There we go. And then I'll share out the screen here. So here we go. So, yeah, this was the crowd. I mean, this doesn't even do justice to how many people were there. So all told, there were over 20,000 people at this event. About, I want to say 4,000 or 5,000 ran the 5K. And then some of those 4,000 or 5,000, including me, once they got back to the finish line from the 5K, decided to go ahead and run the half marathon. So, and it was the half marathon that you were running around a lap around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I've always wanted to do that. And I did get to do it. This is a photo I took. This is at mile 6 of the half marathon, where we enter entrance 2 off of 16th Street there in Speedway, Indiana. This is the main entrance to the Speedway. And there's a tunnel that goes underneath the track and it dumps you onto the infield. So there's a picture of me. Stopped to take a selfie in front of the iconic entrance. That shirt is the specially designed shirt. I had it made of my brothers and I on the front. And then it was just my late brother and I, a photo of my late brother and I on the back. So it basically says R.I.P. Ron Grafman, and his nickname was Chili Dog. So it was an honor to carry him with me during these events. And here I am. This was after I had already done the lap pretty much around the track. This is my brother Ron's photo position. This is where he stood to shoot most of his races. Now, granted, they had a different fence at the time. At that time, they replaced this fence with something a little bit more difficult to shoot through. But and the reason why is because in 2017, my brother was standing here, and I don't know if y'all remember that Indy 500, but that's the Indy 500 that Scott Dixon went airborne in the South Chute and crashed into right into this spot. So they decided to strengthen the fencing, and then my brother kind of lost his photo position, but he to be honest, his health went downhill anyway, so he really never shot from here again. But this is where he stood for many, many years, a couple of decades actually. So proud to have represented him around this track. And my gal and I at the finish line, she only ran the 5K. I did both. And so I had like 3 medals out of all that, the 5K, the half marathon medal, and then the challenge medal for having done both. So came out of there with a lot of hardware, a lot of fun. Didn't blaze any trails, being the fastest. But, it is what it is. I had a good time. So that was that. And while we were there, I might as well just show this to you right now. While we were there, we took in the Speedway Museum. It's just reopened after a 2-year renovation project. Those of you that have ever been to the Speedway are really familiar with this location. And if you've been to the museum before and toured it, it looks a lot different than what it did. And it needed an update. It really did. And what they did was amazing. It's just beautiful. When you first walk in, you go down Gasoline Alley, and they have various displays. On the left side there are some cases with some memorabilia on display. On the right side here are famous cars from past 500s. So those are lined up here. Then you go down to the end of this hall and you round into a movie. Right before you go into the movie, here's the fastest car that's ever made a lap around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is Ari Lyondike's. I think it's Ari Lyondike. No, well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Ari Lyondike's car. I could be wrong about that. Let me get my glasses on. Anyway, it's the fastest car ever to make a lap around. So then you go into this short little theater about the 500, and it's really cool. They have 3 of the Penske Indy cars on the floor here, and you can sit anywhere you want. There are seats in the back here to watch, and then you can sit on the floor next to the Indy cars if you want. And then you watch a short 5-minute video on the history of the 500. It's amazing. So you go out into the main floor here. These are the renovations. So my gal and I, apparently there was a lower level that we failed to go to. These stairs right here. So if you guys ever go, don't forget the lower level. I told her we're going to have to go back now because we have to see that lower level. But you got your mid-level here, and then you got an upper level here of 500 history, and it's just gorgeous. And they also have an iRacing simulator there, and it was really cool. This is my gal doing her best, and I'm so upset that I did not capture it, but she crashed spectacularly off of turn 4 on her last lap, and it was hilarious. I wish I'd have gotten a photo. This photo right here was taken just before she wiped out coming off that turn. You could kind of see, you can make out in the video screen. She is, coming off turn 4, but as soon as I snapped this photo is when she spun out. Excuse me. But yeah, it's really cool. It's an iRacing. It's actually iRacing.com, and it's a simulation of the speedway there. This is the upper level with a lot of memorabilia, driving suits, history of the yellow shirts. So there's a kids area there. And of course they have since Penske owns the speedway now, he has his own wing of the museum. And this is the winner of the Indianapolis 500 from last year. It's on display in that exhibit, and it's pretty spectacular. I took many photos of this car last year in the garage, and it's cool to see it as a museum piece now. And he has all 20 of his driver suits, winning driver suits, on display here. So every 500 that Penske's won, and he's won 20 of them, he's got the fire suit from each win on display in a display case. So if you guys ever have an opportunity to visit the Speedway, please stop by the museum. You won't regret it. It's a great tour. All right, I got that out of the way. What else have I been up to? So I did the Indy Mini, and then we did the museum tour. And then last week I was in Indianapolis again. I drove down there for a second time for the IndyCar Grand Prix, this Sancia Grand Prix. So I love shooting that race. I have several different vantage points that I go to, walk around the Speedway, and got a lot of great shots. I'm not gonna go through that entire album here. I did post links to those albums that I gathered from last weekend on my Flickr page. There's a community post out there with those links. So if you haven't seen them yet, go out, visit those links, and let me know what you think. I'm by far no expert at photography. There are far greater photographers out there than me. I'm just there as a stringer to help capture the action, because every photographer can't be everywhere at once. So I'm just a cog in the wheel that helps my employer gather coverage of incidents. I will say I have much more freedom to move around the track during the Grand Prix. Now, for the 500, I have a specific assignment. I am in turn 4 for the Grand Prix, or for the Indy 500. I won't move from that spot. That's my spot. I'm there to capture any action in turn 4 and turn it in to my employer so he can process it and post it if necessary. I did not get any photos from last weekend published. I shot over 1,300 photos, and I kind of overwhelmed him at the end. I threw the card at him. I said, here, see if there's something on there you want. I'm kind of sad I did that. I need to start taking the time after the races in the media center, just going through my photos real quick, picking out the best ones that I think are the best, and then putting that on a card to give to him, because he's so overwhelmed with how many photographers he deals with any given race weekend. And so next weekend I will be gone. I leave here Thursday, and I won't be back until probably Monday sometime at some point. So I'm spending the entire weekend there. There is a little bit of rain forecast for the Indy 500. So hopefully the race will go off on Sunday and not Monday, but I built in Monday as a day off just for that situation. So, so no show next weekend. Again, sorry about that, folks, but May is a busy time for me. July, I will also have a weekend where I'm not doing a show because of the Brickyard 400. So it's part and parcel for what I do. So I like going to the Speedway. It's like my second home, and I'm not going to miss it. So I can put this stuff aside. The streaming laptop that I use to do these streams is what I also use to edit my photos. So the laptop went with me to Indianapolis, and with the intent on editing photos there. But after the weekend was done, I was in no mood to set my laptop up and edit photos. And I actually processed them when I got home. So, so enough of the non-arcade stuff. Let's start talking about arcade stuff. But first, before we dive into that, let's take a look at the chat, see who's here. Chat's been going, and I haven't really paying attention. So we already said hello to Stock Jock, Hockeytown, and Ted. Again, welcome you guys. Let's see. Corticate's here. Welcome. Oh, Hockey Town. I'm sorry to hear that. So you got that from Buy Stuff, I assume. Interesting. All right. So just scrolling through the chat. Yeah, I don't know about the weather, Hockey Town. Just looking at my weather app with the long range forecast, there's a 35% chance of rain in the morning. So doesn't bode well, but hopefully we'll have some of that Penske luck, and the rain will either wait until the race is over, or it will come and move through early in the day so that the race can go off on time. So what I do know is it will be an early day for me. My brother and I will be at the track probably by 4 a.m. So we'll get there before anybody gets there. The race is a sellout, so there'll be about 350,000 people there. So I like to see that. I don't like to be around a lot of people, but in my photo hole, it's just me and the photographers, so it's not like I'm crowded or anything. I've said it many times, Danny. I'm really busy during the week, so I have no time for streaming. I go to bed at 7 o'clock at night, so I'm not a late night streamer. Well, this is interesting, Stock Jock. I know I did catch the Arcades Anonymous stream during one of my workouts this past week. And so I did, it kind of seemed like you guys had convinced G.I. Joel to move forward with some sort of cabinet. I would definitely be interested in that. So I will be, I don't know if I'll get to watch Michael B's stream live, but I'll definitely watch it Tuesday morning as I'm working out. So I'll check it out then. Oh yeah, the T2 is a different fit. Sorry to hear that, man. Well, Danny, I'll tell you what. Legally, I'm not allowed to shoot video at the track, but at 4 a.m. before track activities have even started, I don't think anybody much cares. So who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a live stream of me walking into the track. Who knows? We'll see. I'm not much of a walk and talker. I think PD7 has that down pat. So, Zero, welcome. Good to see you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the arcade. I've been on a spending spree. Some of you probably have noticed. Financially, I'm doing really well right now. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy about the place I'm in right now. So happy that I went out and bought a truck. So I customized it. So it's a custom build. And I just learned on Friday that the truck was going into production. So the truck is coming. Hopefully the dealer tells me hopefully we'll see something by the end of June, but I'm keeping track of the progress. So that's where it's at right now. Chevy has accepted the order and they're now putting it into the production schedule. So that's where that's at. So I have spent quite a bit of stuff. So you guys know that I've gotten into VR. I've gotten, with the Metaquest 3, bought the X Arcade tank or Arcade 2 X TV XR over there. I've bought all the mods, parts and pieces that I wanted to do some of the mods. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do the riser mods. And I know some of you out there aren't a fan of Arcade 1-Up risers, but I actually happen to be a fan of Arcade 1-Up risers. And I actually am a great big fan of Tulsa Arcades. of their lit riser panels. And you can kind of see them beyond over my shoulder here. Dig Dug and Centipede are dark right now because I have them off the riser and I have the risers ready to go for our little install. And I've done these installs before on this stream, but we're going to do them again, just kind of as a refresher. And I have not opened the package from Tulsa Arcade. Oh, I've opened the box. I just haven't opened up the the bubble wrap protection to see what these actually look like. So I'm going to get a first look at them, just as you're going to get a first look at them today. I trust JC. He and his team do great work. Always have. Every time I've ordered something from Tulsa Arcades, it's been in great shape and looked beautiful. So I already have 3 lit riser panels on some of the arcades, and that whole row on the back wall there are arcades that are going to have lit riser panels. So I'm looking forward to that. In the description of this video or this stream are the links to the Tulsa Arcades lit riser panels and the LED strip that I use, or that he recommends and that I've purchased to use for the backlight for the front panel there. So if you're interested, check those links out. And you have risers and you want to improve on your risers, go by all means, check those links out. That's good to know, Stock Jock. I'm glad to hear that. I heard you talking about it a little bit the other day. I don't know if you've seen my my video on the T2 conversion to my Space Invaders cabinet. That's probably one of the best viewed videos I have is that conversion using the Buy Stuff kit and the retro shooter. I turned it into a Space Invaders retro shooter box. So that was a lot of fun. It was kind of a chore putting that video together, but I got it done. Making videos is not my favorite thing, but I'm going to try and get better at it this year. Who knows? Thumper Squid, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, thanks, Ted. I appreciate it. So what else? So yeah, spending spree. I did buy a camera last week and for the track activities. It's been 15 years since I bought a camera, and camera technology has grown leaps and bounds since I got into it. So I now have a mirrorless camera. My previous model, which was a Canon 7D, was a mirrored camera. And last weekend was kind of a learning experience for me. First of all, this thing shoots at a lightning 30 frames a second, almost movie-like. You know, you put down the shutter, the thing clicks off a movie, and then you pick the shots that you want out of that movie, basically. I mean, it's simply amazing. I don't have any glass for this new camera body yet. It has a different mount technology, but there's an adapter that you can use to use your old lenses with it, which is what I did last weekend. So, that, yeah, I bought that as well. And so I'm kind of putting myself on a timeout purchase wise. I don't want to incur any more expenditures between now and when the truck comes. I want to make sure I'm ready when it comes time to do the financing for the truck, that I'm prepared for it. And so that's what we're going to do. So I might pick something up here and there if I really want it. There's nothing out there right now I really want. Right, what I really want is Glenn's FU. So I've already got a budget category set aside for arcade related expenditures. That fund is growing, and by the time Glenn does the Kickstarter, I probably should have it all paid for. So. Anywho, just a little note on VR. A lot of what I've done gaming related has been VR related lately. I've really gotten into the Metaquest 3. You guys that are friends with me in the Metaquest environment have probably seen me pop in and out from time to time during the day. I do a lot of golfing. I like that miniature golf game, walkabout golf, and I love the bowling game. I love that game. And I played a little bit of Batman Arkham Asylum, a little bit, but I haven't gotten very far in it. But what I've really gotten into now is the Pinball FX VR. And you all know that they recently came out with an update that expanded the rooms, and all the Williams tables go in there now. So I bought all the Williams packs, and I can tell you I've played through them all once, and I'm in love with Attack from Mars. I love that game a lot. I do okay on it. I'm definitely not as good as some of you out there, but I've played through all those games once, and I love them. The immersive environment that you get there, being in that arcade. One thing I will say, and everybody else feels the same way, I know, is I would love to have some sort of social aspect whereby you can have friends side by side playing pinball together, or just chatting in the room. So hopefully they're working on that. That would be a great addition to that app, I think. Let's see. Hockeytown asks if I'm going to trade in my Jeep. Yes. Now, my brother and I have discussed that if they lowball me on the offer, I might just keep it and use that as my daily driver to work. But I don't know. I haven't decided yet. My Jeep's been through a lot. And so I kind of know in my mind what it's worth. I have checked with both Carvana and the Blue Book to determine its value. My head value is somewhere in between what their values are. So we'll see what Chevy offers me. I already get a military discount through the dealer or through Chevy. So I'm getting a little bit a break there as well, but we'll see how much they offer me. Yeah, anywho, so I've been doing a lot of VR lately. One thing I will say, and I don't know if this is just my eyesight, but the picture's a little grainy, and I'm not sure if that's normal for the Metaquest. Haven't really dived into it. It's been an okay picture, but every once in a while it'll be a little grainy. I don't know if that's just my eyesight. Probably is because I'm becoming an old fart now. So, but anyway, I'm running out of space here. The mod we're doing today, I tried to set up as best I could in this space. It's going to be a little tight though. I had a little trouble getting the risers off of the arcades behind me because I had already set up for the table for the mod and didn't have much room to move around in. So it's getting really tight. I've made the decision to sell my Pong pub table. It's very nostalgic, but it's cumbersome. I don't have a lot of space, and the only option at hand is if I expanded the space into the other side of the basement, which I of course can do. But I think I've kind of come to the decision I was going to let it go. So I'm setting a good price for it, I think, so I'll probably just wind up selling it on Marketplace or something. Stock Chuck, I have the full 3. So I have the Metaquest 3, the 512 gigabyte version. And I love it. I do. There was various add-ons. I got the what's the name of the company? Bobo VR. I got their headset with the magnetic battery mount on the back. I bought a couple extra batteries, and then I got a 3-count battery charger for the batteries. So I don't have a battery issue whenever I'm working in virtual reality. I did watch a movie in VR. I thought it was awesome, an awesome experience. I love that feeling that you're in a theater watching the movie. So that was fun. So I'm having a lot of fun with VR. And one thing though that I did this past week, when I was home and had the arcade up and running, was I made sure that I came and actually put hands on what I have behind me. Not all of it, but most of it. Played a little bit of the new Snoopy pinball back there, getting more familiar with some of the options there. And I spent a lot of time. Well, I spent a lot of time with Pinball VR, but I spent a lot of time over on Joust and the Centipede as well. You all saw me post about beating Danny's high score finally on that. You all remember I got that machine from Danny. So his high score was still on it. I left it there. I didn't do a reset. I wanted to see if I could beat it. So I beat it. I would love to golf with everybody, but I'm never up that late. Never. So if we can arrange a time in the early evening, that would be great. I would definitely do it. I did a test stream before I went down to Indianapolis, trying to stream VR, and I suspect I was overloading my USB bus. So I need to try and find a configuration where I'm not overloading all of my USB, because all of my USB hubs are on separate buses on the laptop, and I got to make sure the bus that I was using has a lot going through it already. So I think I was overloading it. And so there will be more test VR streams to come. I don't know when I'll do them. Okay, so let's move right into the mod. It's been a half an hour. We've done some catch up. Again, I just want to say next weekend, no show. I'm in Indianapolis for the 500. So Friday's carb day. I'll be there all day at the track on Friday. Saturday's kind of a day off. And we'll get to bed early Saturday night, and then we'll get up for the 500. Oh, yes, I've done that. Danny, I've watched a little bit of you in VR. And I think I watched P-Dubs in VR as well. So let's mic up here. And again, this is a crapshoot because I just hooked everything back up. As I said, my streaming laptop is also my photo laptop. So all my professional photos are on. All my professional photos are on this laptop right here. All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Switching over to the lavalier mic. I did not bring my. Tablet down, so I can't follow the chat as well. All right, I forgot to set up my camera. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so we're up and running with the cell phone camera. That's good. Oh man, I forgot to bring down my extension cord. It's gonna be fun. Very little room to move around here anymore. All right, so we're charging. That's good. All right, so I'm going to bring up these two views. I'll get it like here. All right. So, again, tight space here. What you see here is what came out of the box. Now, JC at Tulsa Arcades and his people at Tulsa Arcades do a great job packing. There was a layer of bubble wrap around this. I took that layer off, and then there's another layer here. There's actually 2 riser panels in here. So we'll do the unwrapping here. So it's kind of like an unboxing. It's not a full unboxing, but it's kind of like that. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with these riser panels or not, but what you see here on the top is light blockers. So when you put an LED strip behind that riser panel, and I'll point it out here when I get the first riser up here, but there's a light bleed out of the top. So what this piece here does is you put it right there at the front, and it's black on one side, and it blocks the light out so that it just looks normal. I don't know why he used masking tape on this. So there are 2 panels in here, one for Dig Dug, one for Centipede. And of course, he includes his little card here. Thank you for ordering. Small family-owned business. Greatly appreciate your support. If you have any issues with your order, please contact them by phone or email. And they've been very responsive. One of these panels is stock. So in other words, it's on his website for ordering. And the other one is custom. The Dig Dug one, he did not have available from the website, but he actually had already had the artwork done from a previous custom order. So I was lucky enough to not have to pay any design fee. I just ordered the riser custom, and I worked that out with them via email. So if you've got any custom ideas for these, by all means, contact them via their email. I'm a little impatient. I'm just going to rip it. Of course. And there's some screws here that you can use for these screws are for oh, no, they're falling out because I've got a hole in the bag. They're used for the light blocker pieces, which we'll get to. All right, so here's the first one. Here's the Dig Dug. So you've got the yellow custom artwork here, Dig Dug artwork, and you've got your backlight panel here, which if you look on the other side, there it is. It's just a piece of plexi with the artwork inside, and the light's going to shine through that. So that's the custom Dig Dug artwork. And he offered, to make another. If I didn't like this design, he would work with me to come up with another design. I actually love this, so I think this will look great once I get it on there. So there it is. There's the dig dug. All right. So the second piece, and the piece we're actually going to start with, is the one he has on the website. That is Centipede. Here we go. Here's the Centipede riser panel. Right there. It's beautiful. Again, the artwork around the outside, then you've got your backlight panel here. That's how JC does it. So beautiful piece of artwork there, and I think it'll look great. So let's get the first riser up on the table, and we'll get started. Again, tight space here that I'm working with. Oh, and the lights that I use, the LED strips, are link is in the description of this stream. So the HitLights Eclipse kit. So I'll show you how that goes together. You've probably seen me do it before. So the first one we're going to do is the Centipede. All right, so I'm going to adjust the camera here a little bit. All right, so very plain, original front there. And this is what's going to replace it. So that's quite a night and day difference, wouldn't you say? Even if I don't backlight it. I mean, you go from that to that. And what I talked about before with the light bleed, see this space right here between the front panel and your inside panel here, you've got a little space here. Well, this panel is where the LED lights are going to go. So when you set the cabinet on top here, there's going to be a little bit of a gap here, about a 1/4 inch gap where the light just bleeds right through. So when I got my Tron version of this, he did not have these handy dandy pieces. So what this does, basically, it goes right there, and you see he's pre-drilled the holes to fit where the inside riser panel is, and you just screw it down, and it helps prevent light bleed. So let's get started. Stock shock. I'm going to say it probably took 3 to 4 weeks to answer your question. It probably took 3 to 4 weeks from ordering to actually receiving the item. So I would, count on at least 4 weeks. Yeah, the only one I don't is my T2 Space Invaders cab. So I could probably do something custom through him for that cab to replace the artwork that I got from Buy Stuff Arcades. I just replaced that whole panel with a T2 sized, because that riser is differently sized. But I could tell them, I could tell their art department that, hey, I want the T2 sized front riser panel, but with Space Invaders artwork. So, at some point I might do that. But, just looking at all my cabinets, I don't have a lit riser panel for my Star Wars. So that's an option. I can do that one. But yeah, those 2 cabinets are the only ones I would have left after this. All right, so I should really put my eyes on. I got new reader glasses because I broke my other pair. working out at the gym the other day. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and remove this front panel. The other thing I didn't tell in the beginning part of the show, today is day one of marathon training. So I start marathon training today. I started it today, which means I'm actually doing less than what I've been doing in the gym. Those of you that know anybody that's been through marathon training know, and they're on a specific training plan, know that you kind of got to be good about sticking to the plan if you want to be prepared to run a full marathon. And so my plan started today, and it called for 30 minutes of cross training. So I rode the bike for 30 minutes today. That's all I did. I did not do any weight work. I did not do any running. I ran a half marathon yesterday. So that was my last real push before I started training today. And now I'm actually giving my body a little bit of a break. My marathon is in September in Ohio. Right, same weekend that you all, some of you are going to be in Cleveland for the Gaming Classic, and no, I can't come to that. I would like to, but it's just not in the cards. The gal almost went for it, because she would go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But all right, so we're going to remove this panel. Set that aside. I do save my panels in case I sell the arcades. I can give the owner the choice of what they want to do. All right, so we have our inside panel here. We've got our dowels, and I believe we're going to be pulling these dowels because JC does not drill dowel holes. So we're not going to use the dowels. And the other thing I will point out too is on his, he's got two holes on each side. And I don't know why he does that, because they're pretty standard. I would have thought they would have been pretty standard, but what I need to do is line it up so that I'm using the right hole. And we're going to wind up puncturing the artwork a little bit just to get through that hole. So I want to be careful about that because I wasn't last time I did one of these. So we're going to take these dowels out. And I'll just put them in my spare parts bin because you can never have too many dowels, right? All right. Okay, so what you want to do is your goal is to put the lights kind of centered so that it's perfectly centered behind this back glass right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip. I don't even know if I'm going to do that this time. I might. Let's do it. I'm going to put it on its side here. And then I'm going to raise this up a little bit. Excuse my camera shake. Okay, so we're looking down on the front panel here. Make sure my camera's still again. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're gonna put one of these kits in. So what comes in there is they give you a little anti-static cleaning wipe if you want to wipe down the surface with it. You got a little instruction manual. You've got your remote control. These things do come with RGB remotes. And then the piece that goes on the end of the light string. So yeah, so you've got your connector and your RF generator here. So that's what talks to the remote. Then you've got your power supply. You've got a bunch of cable guides here, and they do come in handy for this. And then in the actual box, you have strips, and these are just individual strips of LED lights. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So 3 strips, and then you've got cables that will connect those strips together, and we're going to go through that. And this is an empty box. So all right, so as I said, you want to kind of line these up and center them. That looks about right. And then you just peel the backing off. Just peel the backing off. These come real handy for these specific builds. All right, so I'm going to center that up really good. So one end's got male and one end's got female. And so when you make these connections, there's an arrow. There's an arrow on the strip that matches up with an arrow that's on the actual cable. So you have to make sure that the arrow is oriented correctly. And you just want to insert the connector. And we're going to do our second strip here. And what we have to make sure, since this is a male cable, is that the female end is on the next end of the next row. So we've got our female end here, we've got our male connector. When you do this, you just want to make sure that when you lay the strip down, whichever end is male or female, you have to pay attention to how you're laying these down so that the end of the other end of the cable, the joining cable, fits the end that you're laying down on this end. Yeah, I hope you can understand what I'm saying there. All right, so we peel the end there. And we kind of, since we only have three strips, we're just going to kind of evenly space them again. I'm not a perfectionist, but I do like to try and get it at least close. And again, you have your arrow pointing to which side that the connector should be. So I will do that and make the connection. Now, this is where the cable guides come in handy. All right. I use these to relieve some of the tension on the cables. And he gives you plenty. There's like 6 of them in here. So we're going to I'm going to stick one right about right here. And I'm just going to shove the cable in there. Well, that's actually adding tension. It's probably not the most perfect. I'm going to move it. It's not a good location. Follow the natural flow of the cable when you do this, because the goal is to not put a whole lot of tension. So I'm going to actually put it down on this side. So it holds down the cable flush with the actual panel. All right, so we're ready for our next strip. And the third connection is going to come off of this end. So we're going to do the connection now, and that we need a female end for that. And so we want to make sure that the arrows are lined up. And so however we lay the strip, it has to be the female end that's on this end, because we have a male end on the connector. So we want to make sure that's how we lay it. And Zoltar went off and kind of freaked me out. All right, so we got our third strip down. And then we got our male end here. Got to make sure the arrows line up. Okay, and then we have some extra here. Let's see which flows better. Let's do it that side. So I'm going to put another cable guide here. Just to hold it down. All right. Now on this end is where the actual so this end, it will have, this is another thing you got to pay attention to. So your RF controller here has a female end, and so we wind up with the male end here, which is good. So that's where our power source is going to go. And again, you have to line up the arrows. Which I didn't do. Oh man, what did I do wrong? There we go. All right. Snaps into place. All right. And here is also where you want to use cable guides. Just to hold that firm. And then your power, your AC power. And forgive me, but I neglected to have a power source ready. So I need to I need to locate my. See, I took the extension cord that I normally use for stuff like this with me to Indianapolis, so it's probably in my camera bag. Yeah. All right. So we're going to plug this in real quick. And we're going to. Well, that's not good. Why am I not getting anything? Live TV, folks. Hope I didn't damage this thing. I may have had the polarity wrong. Yep, I did. So I had, again, you have to pay attention to the arrow placement on here, because what I noticed is the arrow was on the opposite side here. So when I connected it, I kind of screwed it up. So again, your typical RGB controller, you can set it to red, green, blue, different shades, orange, yellow, purple, white, and you can actually do have it auto cycle through colors, which is what it's doing now. You can change the brightness. So let's say I wanted to. I can change the brightness of it, and you go lower and you go higher. So anyway, that's the LED strip, and it works as long as you do it right. All right, so I'm going to take this off right now. I'm going to tidy things up a little bit before I put the panel on. So I'm going to put another cable guide here to hold this down. All right, so the goal is to make it as flush appearing as possible and neat. All right, so what I typically do when I run, you also wind up with an extra connector. So you don't really need it. I keep them, I put them back in the box, and the box goes in my part storage. So what I typically do is I run the power underneath, because you've got a little bit of a gap here with the feet on the riser here. So I run the power cable underneath it. I don't drill holes here. That would be the thing to do, right? Is to drill a hole and run the cable through the hole out the back. I don't want to damage the riser, so so what we're going to do, push this over a little bit. We're going to take the old riser and get the feet off of it. So we're going to transfer the 2 feet that are on the old riser to the new. And for that, I need another tool. Okay. I'm going to take the old riser. This is our old riser panel. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pull the feet off. They come off really easy. All right, so we've taken the old feet off, and we're going to put the feet into the new riser panel. Okay, there's one. And there's 2. All right, so the feet are in the new riser panel. And let's get this thing right oriented. Bring the camera down. All right. So again, the power cable is going to run underneath the riser out the back. But let's get the let's put the power cable in before we button up here. So what we're doing is we're making the power connection. I'm going to run the cable out the back just to make sure I got enough, and I do. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use one of those cable guides. Cable organizers, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to secure the cable in place. Now I have 2 more of these left from this kit. I do have some other cable organizers that I can use. What we want to do is prevent the tension from reaching here so that it pulls this cable off. All right, so. And then on the back side, what I wind up doing is putting the last one, on the inside of the side panel, just to hold the cable in place. And I kind of do it sort of low, just in the middle. So further reduce some of the tension up here. All right, so we're ready there. All we need is the new control or new riser panel. All right, now as I said, we've got 2 holes on each location. We need to figure out which hole I need to use. So I'm going to guess I'm going to use the second one from the top to line up with that hole. And then I'm going to use the top one here on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop holes in there. Probably use this. Just putting the holes. Someday I might get around to asking JC why he does 2 holes on each side, but I'm going to reuse the arcade 1-up screws. Okay. I'll do the front side first. Awkward. I'm right-handed. But I wanted to be on that side just to see my big fat back there. Right. Now do the bottom screws. Okay. And then the last screw. Again, you guys get to see my back. Sorry about that. Didn't really think through the camera angles here. Okay. So I'm going to do this first. I'm going to test this. Let me bring this out a little bit so I can get power to it again. Again, tight space there. All right, so here's our different colors. So here, let's say I went with green, or I could do white. White would accentuate all the colors, I think. But I could use whatever color I wanted. You know, I could do green. I think white looks best. But bottom line, I'm going to shorten this power strip. But you can see the light bleeding here off the top. So what we need to do is we need to put this panel in. I wanted to show you this so you guys understood what that was. So what this panel does is it blocks out that light. All right. So, of course, I dropped it in there. And of course, I'll just have to do it from the bottom. All right, so what we've got to do is we've got to put this into place with the provided screws. These are plenty of them in case you screw up, I guess. And if there's a little bit more light bleed, you can cover that up with whatever tape you have. Sometimes a little bit of light escapes still. So now our inside panel's here and the light's being blocked out a little bit. So pretty cool. So now I have a backlit riser for Centipede. So we're done with Centipede. Now, when you put this into place, you just need to be mindful of where your cable is, your power cable is for that. So here mine comes out the back. And I'm just going to pick this up and set it aside for now. And we'll put these into place at the end. But I'm going to move towards Dig Dug right now. So I'll set this aside over here. So that one's done. And we'll get Dig Dug. And I'll try to move through this quicker. All right, so Dig Dug, as you can see, just has a plain black riser panel. That's all it is, plain black. I mean, at least the Centipede had the Atari logo on it, but this has nothing. There's nothing here. So we're going to go from nothing to this. Impressive, eh? I think so. I think this is going to look awesome. So again, we're going to see where our holes line up. And it's the inside holes. Okay. So I don't know why he does it, but there's two holes. So we just got to be mindful of how it lines up later. Oh, this time last week, I was driving home from Indianapolis because the race was on Saturday. Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to JC at Tulsa Arcades. He does great work. I'm going to pull the dowels out of here as well. Oh, let's go ahead and get these out now. I'm going to go ahead and take the feet out of the old one. Come on, get out of the hole. There we go. Okay, so got our feet out. All right, so here we have our surface. And we'll get our second kit here. Power, and then our connection points here. Our LED lights and connectors. Okay. All right, so now we need to start laying these out. Okay. So I got my rough layout based on the pin setting. So got female over here, male here, and then I've got a female connector to go to it. Then I've got a male connector in to go on to this end, and a female on this end, and a male on this end. And then down here is where my RF connector would connect to. So let's go ahead and start laying these down. Again, evenly spaced, as best as you can get it. drop something here to get it because it's really cracked here. Okay. And then the last LED strip. So not perfect, but it's perfect for my needs. So again, make sure the arrow on the connector matches up with the arrow on the LED strip. Don't make the mistake I did earlier. Okay. And I'm going to use cable guides again. Okay, you get with the new kit, I got 6 of them, so. Feed the cable and lay it down naturally, wherever it lands, just so it's just smooth. Okay. Now let's do the other side. And matching up the arrows. I've been watching Andor. I'm about halfway through it now. I'm on episode 6, so I've not seen the end yet. Everything I've read about it says it gets fantastic towards the end, so looking forward to it. Andor is probably not the best Star Wars TV show we've gotten to date, so. Other than Mandalorian season 1 and 2. All right, so, oh, I did that wrong. Shit. Yeah. Oops. Screwed up. Screwed the pooch. So the idea is to go that way, and we didn't do that, so I'm not going to do that. You guys can do it. Let's try it. Just get in the hole. IndyCar qualifying is later today on one of the Fox networks. So if you guys are into that, I know where I'll be around that time. Curious to see which drivers I'm going to be following next week. Which driver gets to go home. Pump day is always a dramatic day at the track. Because they're fighting so, the guys that are slow are fighting so hard to stay in the field. I watched qualifying yesterday, just couldn't believe some of the efforts of some of those crews. The crews, I mean, Colton Herta had a massive crash yesterday morning before qualifications began, and they got that car back together in 4 hours, and he qualified. Simply short of amazing. All right, so we've got our RF connector connected. We've got the whole assembly together. All we need is the power supply. And we'll test it. So let's get our power source here. There we go. We've got power. Oh. Different one. All right, changing colors: orange, purple, green, heavy green, white, yellow. And then we could do blinky effects too. All right, so we know it works. That's good. All right. And then spare cable. Count it down a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is get some further, the same as I did before. I'm going to make the power connection. And then I'm going to put another guide in place. So two, because I forgot to do one down there. If you're asking me questions, I apologize. I don't have my tablet here, so I'm not able to see chat very good. Okay. Just to help keep the RF connector straight. There we go. Like that. And then I'm going to put the last one on the inside here, just as I did with the Centipede. And again, you can do these cables however you want. You want to drill holes and run them out the back, good. You do. There's no right way or wrong way to do this, really. It's all personal preference. All right. Okay. So we're ready to, we've got it all assembled here, so we just need to put the front panel on. And I've already, well, I didn't put the feet in yet. Let's put the feet in. Ah, okay. That hurt. All right, so the feet are in. Thumb's throbbing right now. All right, again, we have to make sure we line up the holes properly. So on the top holes, it'll be the bottom one. And this one, so it's like the inside holes. All right, so I've got my holes marked. I just need to put screws in. Oh, I'm actually bleeding from that. Oh my goodness. You can see my thumb bleeding. I want to get blood on the artwork. I get for hammering my thumb. Ready? Hopefully none of you are squeamish. Wound. So we do one over here first. Something just fell. Did I have artwork that fell? No. Something just fell in here. I don't know what. Oh, I know what it was. It's just a box. Oh, that's a beautiful looking right there. So the riser's in. Looks good. Let's test her out here. Let's try yellow. Yellow actually looks pretty good. But white looks better. It doesn't show up quite as good. Well, you can change it. You can change it any color you want, really. But you're going to want something that brings out the artwork best. And in these two instances, I think white is going to be the better option. Notice how I go here in the artwork. It kind of joins with what's at the top, or what's in the actual wood artwork. Kind of matches up with it, and I think that's impressive. Great work on their part, really. Looks gorgeous. All right, so we see the light bleed here, so we need to take care of that. So we need to use our other panel here. And screw that down. Just goes right into the wood. I don't have to really drill any holes. All right. That's great. All right, so riser number 2 done. So I've gotten them both done. Now, hey, Mo, good to see you, man. Welcome. Sony says he uses the white light too. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are going to be chatting at me that weekend. I'm in Detroit, or not Detroit, Dayton, running that marathon. But all right, Hockey Town says the next 3 episodes of Andor are peak. Okay, I heard they were amazing, and then the last 3 dropped, and everybody seems to agree it's a great lead-in into Rogue One. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, so I need to make room here. So I'm going to turn on the house lights. It'd be easy for me to end the stream now and say, well, I'll put it together and take a couple pictures. But no, I don't do things that way. I think you guys know by now I don't do things that way. So we're going to turn off our lighting here, move them out. I need to create a little bit of workspace here for me because this is getting tight in here now. I really wanted to bring my 1/6 scale stuff back in to the fold. All right, so I'm going to get this riser off the table. Be careful I don't put blood on it. I need a garbage bag. I'll use this for now. So I got 3 extra screws here. I'm gonna hang on to those. Clean up all my garbage and get this table out of the way, and that's my goal. Running garbage bin. Extra valves, and my spare parts. Take the tools. Always, space always an issue. That another building. I feel like it's been forever since I built an arcade one up, but it actually hasn't because it was that NBA Jam. Whoa. Move the camera out of the way. You never have enough tables. Every table I have, I own. I've used it sometimes. All right. Okay, so I mentioned I have low space. I'm gonna aim the camera here. So there's the Centipede and the dig dug. Well, I've got more space to work with now, but I'm going to do the dig dug first, or the Centipede first. And of course, I boxed myself out. Easier to do it this way. Kind of getting the riser situated to the length I like it at. And we're going to have power for this. No. Boy, did I not think this through. I'm going to have to rethink my power situation here. So unprepared. Alright, so there's my cabinet source. It's one right there. Alright, so cabinet power. I need a strip. Didn't think this through. And God only knows if I have a strip. And two on the cord though. Okay. There it is. Whew. I got my sources here for the dictum. Now where is? Oh, I know. Okay. What a mess back there, really. All right. There we go. Got our backlight there. Okay. So far, so good. Just had to figure out the power situation first. I know it doesn't look very good. Trying to sharpen up the photo there. All right. That's a sharp looking cabinet now with the front riser panel now. I really like it. High score, QDA. And then DAD is next. That would be Danny. All right. So let's do the other. Let's do the dig dug now. Let's finish this up. I'm really looking forward to this one. I've been craving getting a mid riser panel for this one for quite some time. There we go. Not in this scene. Shit, what happened to it? I'm missing the remote that I had for the Centipede's LED. I don't know where it is. I got plenty more. I wish I knew where it fell. Interesting. All right, well, it is what it is. Well, let's get the big dog in place. Excuse me if I bump the mic. All right. Oh. There we go. Just note about the Atari Tempest. It does have an issue with the encoder board, not the PCB, but the encoder board. So, my opinion, this is my opinion, not fact, is that that particular machine is susceptible to power spikes. So, you have to be careful about how you apply power and remove power from that Atari Tempest. Just do it normally via the power on-off switch. Because the one time that I blew my encoder board was because I was testing breakers at the time and forgot that I had the Tempest on. And I wound up blowing the encoder board that way. So that was my experience. Yeah, and Arcade 1-Up did replace it. All right, so there's my riser panels. I still have to replace the monitor for the Centipede, so that mod is coming. I did buy one from Buy Stuff. I don't have shipping notification yet, so that monitor replacement is coming. Looks great, though. Awesome. My phone is a little bit picky when it comes to lighting. And of course, my Dig Dug volume is up. Dig Dug is one of my favorite games of all time. Thanks, Doc Jack. I think they look terrific too. And let me bring the camera over so you can see. That's an all lit riser panel row right there now. So I got the Atari Tempest, I got Tron, I got Joust, I got Centipede now, and Dig Dug. Now at the end of this row, can't really see it because I don't have the camera over all the way. Let me pull the power out and I'll just do it. So at the end of that row, you see my Star Wars. So that might be next. I might do the Atari Star Wars. Now that's a special size. That riser is a different size than the rest of the Arcade 1-Up risers. But I might do that one next. If he's still selling them, that's one. So yeah, looks great. Hockey Town, to answer your question, I suppose I never really given it much thought. You would have to drill a hole through the bottom, the G panel, on the actual arcade 1-up to run a cable through it. But I don't know if you saw the connectors to. I thought I had something here. Yeah, it's kind of like this. So let me bring up my desk camera. So so this is just an inline power switch. But I don't know if you saw, but the end of the RF controller on those LED lights is a connector like this. So I don't know, what would you call that? Like an RCA connector, something like that. If you could find, instead of using the brick that comes with it, if you could run a cable from here to a Y splitter off of the arcade 1-up, don't quote me on it. I don't see why it wouldn't work, but you would have to have the voltage and everything right. 2 amp. Yeah. So it would have to be the right voltage. And I'm a non-electrical genius, but that's a great idea. It's something I might toy with in the future. I would just need to know, I need to get a piece of wire to go from this end on the RF controller through the bottom of the cabinet and into a Y splitter up top. So I can't vouch that it would work or not because I haven't done it. So is it my opinion that it should? I have an opinion it should, but until I try it in practice, I'm not going to say it works one way or the other because I don't want to lead you guys down the wrong path. You're right, and I don't necessarily like the brick coming out the bottom of the riser like it does now. So you've given me something to think about. I may part that stuff out, see if I can't, get the parts that I need to try that, and see if I can do a Y split on the marquee power maybe. It's a good idea though. Thanks for putting that idea in my head. This is his question, by the way. I didn't put it up there, but man, now I know what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. I'm going to be going on Amazon looking for parts. If you come up with a parts list, shoot them my way. That I would need, like the Y splitter itself, and then a cable to go from the RF controller up to the Y splitter. I'll see what I can find out later. That's all I got for today, folks. I mean, I just wanted to do those 2 mods and get through that and catch you guys up on what I've been doing. What's next? What do I have next? Well, next weekend, obviously, I'm at the 500, so no show. What's next is I'm waiting for that monitor replacement to come in for the Centipede. So hopefully that'll come in the next couple of weeks. Then I can do that for the next show that I do, which is the week after the 500. So we'll see. That's my next serious mod, though, is that monitor replacement. Other than that, I don't have anything really behind it. I do need to fix my Frogger Build-A-Cade. I still don't have. I still have the power issue with that, and I'm kind of waiting for Glenn to bring his Build-A-Cades down again in price, so I can just buy another one and replace it. And I have a suspicion where the problem is, but I can't get it to work. So I need to get a fresh one in that I can transfer the artwork and stuff to, and basically build another Frogger out of parts and pieces. So we'll see. But I do have, you can see it on the upper left camera, my 1/6 display. my cell phone camera's in the way, but so yeah, I've done a whole display. I got another change machine in, so that's running power to most of them. My Frogger down there is dead to the world, and it's a neat little display now. It's the best I could come up with and try to save some room in here to work. Oh, the other thing I have, which I haven't done anything with, guys, I got in on that deal that, remember, was it Amazon? I think it was Amazon that had the deal on the numbskull stuff. So here I have Burger Time. There it is, the numbskull 1/4 scale Burger Time. And I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do with this, where I'm going to put it. Doesn't really fit into this display right here. So I haven't unboxed this yet. I kind of wanted to see if I could do a proper review video on it. But it's beautiful. The box is beautiful, actually. So that's something that I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with. So I just kind of tucked it underneath my Star Wars pinball for now. Just keep it out of the way. You know, Danny's been after me to expand this area that way. That's a project for another time. I might do that. Maybe a little bit at a time, just to add a little bit of room here and there. Okay, thanks, Hockey Town. I've dealt with him before, so I'll give that a look. And Stockjack says you can power them through the USB as well. So either way, I'll give both methods a try. I'll experiment with it. I'll do it on the Dig Dug because that's the easiest one to access right now. So, and I may do it on the Centipede too, because I'll have that one apart for the monitor upgrade. Cool, cool. Nice. So you're going to be giving that away. That's cool. Yeah, I wasn't intending on buying it, and then that number popped up, and I'm like, I can't pass it up. I love the game. I love the nostalgia for it. I missed the Burger Time that I had in here, even though it was severely damaged on one side. But yeah, so I had to jump on it. It was just too incredible of a deal for the kind of work that Numbskull does, how meticulous it is. And I'm kicking myself I didn't jump on the Space Invaders when they were, both of them, when they were at a reduced price as well. So I'm keeping my eye out on Amazon for having to have those deals. I look for the Numbskulls almost every other day, and just to see if there's an incredible number on one. Elevator Action would be another one I'd love to have too. So, all right, folks, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I have some things to do today. I haven't mowed the grass yet, so I got to get outside and do some of that. Again, not here next week. I'm sorry about that. I'd love to be here with you guys, but it's the 500. I cannot say no to the 500. 350,000 of my screaming friends, you know, watching, all partying and watching a great race. Should be a great race. For me, I'm a little bit concerned about how these cars are taking off from the surface. We've had a few flips, a couple of flips anyway. So I hope everybody's safe. Colton Herta had a really scary crash yesterday, so I'm glad he's okay, walked away from it, and I'm glad they pieced that car together that he was able to get into the field. So But anyway, guys, always a pleasure. I love coming in here to hang out with you guys. I catch most of your streams throughout the week during my workouts. I wish I could join you live. Last Friday night, I was able to jump on the Super Game Room Dudes chat live for a while. That was the first live stream I've joined in a long time. So I'm an early to bed person, so I don't get to catch all of the streams out there, but I do watch a lot of the content throughout the week, probably like some of you do. And I'd also like to catch a golf game with someone at some point. So that would be great. Hit me up in VR. It has to be midday or early evening, something like that. Something before 7. I would love to have a blast in VR. So, but anyway, I want everybody out there to have a great and safe week, and have a great Memorial Day weekend next weekend if I don't talk at you from the track. And until next time, remember, I've got next.